produce a social space. We create or produce the environment. So that environment also recreate us and mold us. But before the capitalists or the bourgeoisie create, destruction must come before the reconstructions. When he, when he talks about space or social space, he means the rule of government. So this is a representational space, which is the mental space. So the rule of government, they are the one who plan and they are the one who actually design certain projects and they own a lot of land in the city. And hence, they are able to attract the capitalists or the bourgeoisie that have a lot of money to invest such to invest to that certain spaces, and that is why he talks about the production of space. There are a conceptual triad or the spatial triad. There are three levels of space that have a dialectical relationships to each other. So special practices or perceived space. Um, the special practices is society secrets that society space it proposes presupposes it in a dialectical interaction. It uh, produces it slowly and surely as it matters and appropriates it. From the analytical standpoint, the special practice of society is revealed through deciphering of its spaces. So which means modern special practices might thus be defined to take extreme but significant case, but the daily life of tenant and government subsidies high-rise housing project, which should not be taken to that means of motorways of the politics, air, or transport can be left out of the picture. A spatial practice must have a certain cohesiveness, but does not imply is that it is coherent, and the sense of intellectuality work out a logical conceit. So, what is spatial practice under neo capitalism? It embodies a close associations within perceived space between between daily reality or daily routine and the urban reality. The routes and networks which link up to the places set aside for work, private life, and leisure. The second is the representation of space or conceived space. The both are actually a cognitive level of abstract level. Something happens in our mind. So conceptualize space, a space of scientists, planners, urbanists, techno subdividers, and social engineers as of certain type of artists with a scientific bent of all whom identify what is lived and what is perceived and with what is conceived. So they are the one who plan our spaces. So also the government. So the government has a lot of space. They are and the rule of government. They are the one who plan. So and they are the one who actually design certain projects and they own a lot of land in the city. So, mental space influenced by dominant ideas becomes separated from social practice and be seen as the central reference of knowledge. Abstract space is supported by non critical knowledge, violence, and bureaucracy. Abstract space works in highly complex way. It has something a dialogue about it and that applies a tacit agreement, a non-aggression pact, a contract as if were of nonviolence. The unification of disparate tendency and factors is a goal of theoretical practice that opposes the homogenizing efforts of political power and abstract space. So hegemony, the concept of hegemony was introduced by Gramsci in order to describe the future rule of the working class in the building of a new society, but it is also useful for analyzing the action of the bourgeoisie, especially in relation to space. Capital acts as a hegemony, it acts as a domineering part. It is very powerful, and the people who are powerful are the capitalists or the bourgeoisie, and they are the one who own the land. All the same, there is no getting around the fact that the bourgeoisie still has the initiative in its struggle for space, which bring us back to the question of the possibility and silence of the users of space. Every space is already in place before the appearances, and it of actors. What are we learning in the production of spaces is that the spaces which are available are owned by the capitalists of people who have money. So one class produces it and the other class consumes it. And people who produces it are the people who have money, and their ideas often contradicts the ideas of the large representations of the masses. Perceiving is thinking of how it should be, and conceiving will go beyond perceiving, are actually collecting more information about this social world, and the laws, the lived space, are actually a combination of the conceived and the perceived space. The space that we are talking about that often happens in our mind and also in the physical world and in the world. So, as I have said earlier, this is a first definition, and I said, and the first one that I said earlier is my definition. And in this first definition is in capitalistic economic society, these abstract spaces are actually controlled by the capitalist people, and they have an idea in each area of how it should be developed, but often their ideas are often contradicting by the common and often crashes the lived spaces of the common people. So we find a tension between the common man and the people who own it. There is always a dialectical tension between may not be in terms in class of classwork or discussed by Karl Marx, but the small tension small tension between the people who have the ideas of their own, but their ideas are often suppressed by the ideas of the dominant class or the capitalists, and hence, space, even if it created by men, it is often controlled by the powerful people, so the common people are not able to make their own space. And the last special triad is the representational spaces, or the lived space. Space as directly lived through its associated image and symbols, and hence the space of inhabitants and users, but also of some artists and perhaps of those such as a few writers and philosophers who describe and aspire to do no more than describe. This is the dominated and hence possibly experience space, which is the imagination seeks to change and appropriate. It overlays physical space, making symbolic use of its object. Thus, representational space may be said, though again with certain exceptions to tend to. In reality, social In reality, social space incorporates social actions, the action of subjects, both individual and collective, who are born and who die, who suffer and who act. From the point of view of these subjects, the behavior of their space is at once vital and mortal. Within it they develop, give expression to themselves, and encounter prohibition. Then they perish, and at the same space contains their graves. In the case of pre-capitalist societies more readily comprehensible to anthropology, ethnology, and sociology than to political economies, such as sites are needed for symbolic sexual union and mortars as places where the principle of fertility, or the mother, may undergo renewal, and where the fathers, chiefs, kings, priests, and sometimes gods may be put to death. The space emerges consecrated, yet at the same time protected from the forces of good and evil. It retains the aspect of those forces which facilitates social continuity but bears no trace of their other dangerous side. Magic and sorcery, they do have their own spaces. opposed to but presupposing religio-political space, and also set apart and reserve such spaces are cursed rather than blessed and beneficent. By contrast, certain lyric spaces devoted for their part to religious dances, music, and so on were always felt to be beneficent rather than baleful. So, based on my understanding, space, even if it created by the men, is often controlled by the powerful people. So, the common people are not able to make their own spaces. Additionally, people do have spaces, but through they automatically agree. Capitalist people want our society to be economically grow like the other countries. However, we need to listen to the people first because they are the one who first lived there. So, overview, Lefebvre's concept of space challenges the traditional understanding of space as not neutral and objective entity and highlights the social, cultural, and political dimension that shapes our lives experience of space. So both Henry Lefebvre's The Production of Space and Maurice Halbwach's The Collective Memory explore the social construction of reality. But in different domains, Lefebvre examines the productions and experience of space, while Halbwach. So that is our understanding about the collective